5 questions, but well, technically 4, and then the fifth one is just our individual experiences.
Oh, correct. All right.
Who do we want to start
Have a
with?
nice day. I mean, who's the leader? I mean, it always has to be one of you three.
I just assumed it was a joint thing, and we all were just.
All right, we'll start with that.
We'll
start with that one. This way. Okay.
All right, so let's start it off. Who are we? Because they're not afraid of the dark; they're afraid of what's in the dark.
No one was holding a script, and I barely even went over our script.
He never seemed to say yes to anyone.
It doesn't matter. Come on, let's go.
Unrecognized device, Chrome browser, near Santa Ana.
We are Semblance.
That shit sounds so weird. Oh my god.
I honestly thought he was gonna say we were the ensemble. But
No. After hours of deliberation, we agreed on Semblance.
Yes.
It's 10 minutes.
All right, Alan.
All right.
Start us
So
off.
we are Semblance. That's the name of our podcast. We are Mass Trinity Productions, and we are actually college students. So, what is our podcast about?
I think we just decided it's about like anything we're interested in. No.
Yeah, that's basically it. It's just us talking about things that interest us.
I assumed it was just stuff that interests us in the paranormal / weird phenomena, like aliens and ghosts.
I think that's fair as well. I mean, I feel like what interests us is mostly paranormal and weird shit like that.
Yeah,
I think that fits.
All right. So, Eduardo, do you believe?
Oh well. Let's go over. I'm Eduardo, and so they can get acquainted with our voices.
Oh yeah, I mean, introduce yourselves. Yeah.
I'm Brian.
I'm Alan.
Sup? I'm Jonathan.
That's Jonathan.
All right.
So
Back to the first question.
do we believe?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll go first. I would like to believe because I think it's very interesting and I want to believe that there's more to this world than just what's physical and what we can actually see. As far as like ghost and paranormal stuff goes.
I like that. I like to believe that some part of me does believe. I haven't had much experience with it. I've heard a lot of stories and whatnot, but it's really just that. It's they're just stories to me.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd like to believe that maybe there is something out there.
I like that. Yeah, I think I'm close to the same aspect too. I do believe in a sense, but not fully because I haven't really experienced anything. And at the same time that I would like to experience it, I would hate it. But I would want probably proof to fully believe.
I get that. I like that.
I mean, my stance, again, with everything is like, if I don't see it, I don't believe it. So it's similar to yours, but I'd say it's more to the extreme. Whereas, like, yeah, you guys want to or want to see if you can. Whereas it's like, I don't really care. Well, no, I don't really care because I find them interesting. It's just that I personally don't think it's real unless I see it.
Okay.
I get that.
Fourthly, why are we drawn to it?
Why are we drawn to it?
Because it's fun and it's interesting, in my opinion, especially when you're just reading about it. I feel like that's a lot of what we're going to be doing here. Reading about it and discussing what we think about it.
I think I'm drawn to it because I always thought it was so cool, like, as a kid, like, you know how, like, us growing up Hispanics have, like, a rich culture with, like, paranormal stories and all that. So I kind of grew up with it, and I don't know, I guess that just kind of stuck with me throughout my whole life.
I mean, I feel like I'm on the same boat as Eduardo, where it's like all these stories that I've heard from all these family members, and and that's what draws me to it because of how detailed they are sometimes, and you just think, wow, could that actually have happened? And it just makes me want to research more and more.
I like that. The reason I was drawn to it, though, it actually spawns from pop culture. I love the horror genre, and I started watching it probably at the age of 5, and it really sparked a great interest in me, in finding out and actually probably maybe proving if it's actually real.
Mm.
But at the same time, I wouldn't want to. I don't like messing with that. I already
Okay.
seen too many movies to find that out.
Okay. Can I ask something? So a lot of us said that for us to say we're actual believers, we need proof. What kind of proof do you guys like? What would you guys take as proof?
Okay, obviously the most obvious one is just seeing it in person. That's
Mm.
obvious, right?
Mm,
If I
just
if I
seeing
saw
it
it in
was-
person, I wouldn't want to see it in person.
Maybe.
But if I saw it in person, I'd believe it, and I'd probably freak the fuck out as well.
Yeah, I think I'd feel
But-
the same.
But what do you mean by seeing it? Like a full body apparition
I
right in
think-
front of you?
I think it doesn't have. I wouldn't say it has to be full body.
I feel like
I think it just as long as I'm aware of what it is and I know that it isn't an actual person and I know that it's that like it'd literally just be like a floating orb and I'd probably just be like, damn.
Okay.
What about if it was like, let's say a demon, and like, what would you do then? Like, what would be that proof?
I don't know. I never really thought about that one. I don't know. I never thought about what the proof for that one would be. But I feel like if I ever saw something like that, I'd bolt. I'd be out of it. I'd be
I'm
gone.
oh yeah,
I'd not want
honestly,
to
I
be there.
like I don't know.
You wouldn't like ask it something. You'd see it and then you'd be like, "Yup, ghosts are real," and just
Yeah,
dip.
but yeah, I don't want to fuck with ghosts, you know.
You don't.
So like, I mean, from stories too, ghosts don't really want to fuck with you.
Mhm.
So if you just move out of the ghost that's trying to fuck with you, move away from that, you're good. Like, you know.
Mhm. What about you, Adam?
What would be proof for me?
Yeah.
I've seen it, and maybe possibly feeling it, because I think you could also still fake something in front of somebody else. But if I get that chance, I don't think I'd want it.
Okay.
I mean, I don't think any of us would want the chance to actually experience it. Because personally, I'm a big pussy for this shit, you know.
I wouldn't want it, but like, again, it would depend on what it is that's presenting itself in front of me. Some things like Brian said, a floating orb. I feel like that would require more investigation. Maybe I'd walk closer to it, you know. But if like I saw something materialize in front of me, and it was like a little ghost girl, then that's probably when I would bolt.
I think I would just bolt in general. I'm just like, fuck that. You know, you're real. Okay, cool. Now I know they're real.
I think now I think about it, I would be like if it were an orb, I'd be like a little bit like I'd take a little step forward. But if it were like anything else, like it doesn't even have to be something scary. Like it could literally look like the friendliest ghost ever. But if I just saw it appear in front of me, I'd be gone. I'd leave. I'd run away. I'd be like, no, I'm not doing this.
Also,
I have proof.
What about it? What if it would be like if you saw a door slam and nobody else was in there, or if you heard something and nobody else is in your home?
I
Well,
feel
I
like
mean-
that's too basic.
yeah, that's too basic.
Yeah.
Like in this apartment too, because we're up high, doors slam because we leave the windows open.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like door slamming isn't that big of a deal. But like I think another thing like if I see like I don't have to see it, but if there's like writing on the wall, just start to like no.
Yeah.
Okay, no.
Mm-hmm. Like it has to be something you can't easily rationalize. Is what I'm getting from this. Yeah.
For sure.
Like the door slamming, like you said, the wind from the window, but writing on the wall, that's something you can't ignore. No, can you be like, it's just I left the window open.
Oh, yeah, or like something talking to you too.
Yeah.
I would lose my mind if I heard like.
What if you're having a full
Somebody talking.
conversation with somebody at night,
I feel like
and you wake up and there was nobody there?
Dude, I would administer myself into a mental hospital or something.
You'd be like,
Because I'd think
check
I'm
me.
crazy. Yeah, I'd be like, check me in, please.
yeah. I mean, I think I don't know. Okay, because we're already like 10 minutes in, and we haven't really introduced ourselves, like who we are and shit. So
So let's start it. Let's start it
I
off
mean-
with some individual experiences.
Well, hold on. Before we get into that, or before I get into mine, let's get to know each person more individually. So, I'm Eduardo. I'm 18, and I am a student at the Academy of Art in San Francisco. And I'm doing this as a way to kind of expand my creativity and just because I think it's fun to do things like this with friends.
Okay, well, I mean, I'm Jonathan, a student at San Fran State University. Um, engineering major. I don't know if that's important, but I don't know. I'm kind of here because it's fun, and I think it's like a passion project too. You know, I think it's something that I will have a lot of fun with. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get you. My name is Alan. I am 18 years old as well. I am also a student from the Academy of Arts.
Well,
I am majoring in photography, but this whole thing is more of a passion project, and it's a side project towards from our initial first passion project.
mm-hmm.
Well, I'm Brian. I am a student at City College, San Francisco, or San Francisco City College. I always get it mixed up.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't actually want to do anything in the field of any of this. I actually want to be a chef, but I like doing this because it is, like John said, it is fun,
mm-hmm.
and I enjoy looking into stuff like this. So this is like another passion project as well for me.
Okay. So we were talking about individual experiences. In the realm of paranormal experiences, the only thing, well, the story I always tell is when I was younger. And my family was in Mexico, and we were visiting family there. Like, thinking back on it now, I don't know how to rationalize it, but what happened was, and it's funny that this is the only thing that's happened to me because we talked about it before, was I was on my own and I was just kind of playing with myself, you know. I had like my toys and everything, and I I I was in it's sort of a clearing, but it's before the woods, so it's not really in the woods, and I was just kind of, you know, like messing around, and I said something out loud, and I heard it repeated back to me, but it wasn't an echo, and it wasn't really on the same volume as mine. It was kind of lower and softer, and I didn't know what it was, and I just kind of just stopped talking, and I just sat there and I kind of looked around, and I didn't really know what to think of it at the time, and I kind of just let it like linger in the back of my head and until I forgot about it, until you know, like people, well, like when you sit around a campfire, like when you go camping, people ask for these kind of things, and this always is the first thing that comes to mind whenever I tell a story.
Well, I feel like for me it wasn't. It was it was something recently that I found out about that happened to me when I was a child, but I didn't know about it. I would always just tell other people stories that they would tell me. But for me, it was my mother told me a couple weeks ago that when I was a child, back in Mexico, I would wake up like at dawn, like at the crack of dawn. I would wake up and I would start crying. I would start bawling, and I'd be pointing in the corner of the room, saying that there was somebody there, that there was a little girl there, and it was weird because she said that her uncle and my dad's brother would actually experience things similar like that in that room when they would sleep there. So her uncle said that one time he was sleeping there, he woke up to find a little girl sitting at the edge of his bed, and he described the little girl as blonde with green eyes. And then my dad's brother said that he woke up to a little girl that was blonde with green eyes sitting on top of his chest.
Mm.
And that was like, to me, it was like, okay, how did three people see the same little girl in the same room without ever having told each other that beforehand?
Mm-hmm.
And so I guess that's that. And she said that the family beforehand actually had lost their little daughter in that house. So I presume that that was probably her room that we were sleeping in. So yeah, that was my crazy story.
That's creepy.
What about you?
For me, it was something that happened with me and my cousin, but I frankly remember it quietly being only about me. So, we got these toys, these um, like machine control, battery controlled robots, and we were playing with them, but we noticed that they did not come with batteries. Haha, packaging.
Mm-hmm.
So the next day, my cousin's dad was supposed to go get the batteries, but and so we put the toys in a separate room. We went to bed, and then that night, for some reason, the hallway light was on, and I was sleeping with my face towards the open door, and I can see the light. The thing that was the most paranormal for me was that I saw the shadow of the toys just walking in that hallway, and I can hear the toys moving, and I tried to brush it off, so I pulled the covers over my head and went to sleep after that. The next morning, uh, we went to go check on where the toys were. They were in another room from where we left them, which was completely weird. And years later, I asked my cousin about it, if he had the same experience, and sure enough, he said that he thought he was the only one that saw the shadows walking in the hallway.
Mm-hmm. That's freaky.
That is freaky. That's crazy. That's real weird.
Okay, so me, okay, I don't know. I'm gonna say two things.
Mm-hmm.
Because one of them isn't really mine.
Go on.
Another one's shared, I guess.
Yeah.
So I know, when I was a child, my parents claimed to have seen angels around my crib,
mm-hmm.
which was funny because technically I was born. The doctors didn't want to let me out of the hospital for a while, so that was they believe that that's why I'm alive and all that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And the second one, which I've said before, was because I know we all believe that, like, well, we all assume that you can see death 3 times, and the third time you see him, you die, right?
Well,
That's
yeah,
as-
that's like
as
the
is-
myth, right?
That's
Yeah.
like the myth, and
Yeah,
like,
so-
I've heard that as the myth.
and like I didn't really believe it that much, but like I told you guys, like one time death appeared to one of our tenants, and like in 2 nights later, I saw a hooded figure, and that was the first time I've seen death, and it's the only time I've seen death, and hopefully I don't see him another 2 times, you know.
Mhm.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, seeing death, or what I thought to be death at the time. Maybe it's not death. Maybe I just imagined it, you know, because I was a kid, you know.
Yeah.
But maybe it was, you know. That's my thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you kind of already like have rationalized it as maybe you're just imagining it, right?
Yeah.
So like, what about you, Brian? You said you don't remember it at all, but like, how do you think? How would you rationalize that if you think you could? Your experience.
I mean, I don't know. I was like 2 or 3. You know, like I don't remember that at all. But I would say maybe they had said something and I had heard something somewhere. So I just I would just wake up early, crying because that's what kids do sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And I would just make up a story. Maybe I don't know, but I really don't know. I've never. Again, this story recently came to me. It wasn't something that I had known for years.
Mm-hmm.
It was something that was told to me a couple weeks ago by my mother. So it's really just like I haven't figured out how to rationalize that completely yet.
Mm-hmm. I mean, well, what about you, Ellen? Because you said you and your cousin had the same experience. So, like, what do you think that was, if not paranormal, or do you just think it was paranormal?
Okay, so if I had to rationalize it, I think it would have to be with the fact that maybe it was his parents that got up at night to go use the bathroom in the hallway. But it would have to be in an obscure scenario where they were super far and the light and all of that. That's rationalized. But as of how long it's been, I haven't rationalized it at all. So I come to the conclusion that it's as it's said here in the U.S., it's gnomes, or in Mexico, how they're described as duendes. They could have been that, but I don't know. I mean, another way to rationalize it could be that we misplaced, like we forgot where we actually put the toys. We probably thought that we put them somewhere, and then we actually put it in another room.
Yeah. Okay. I get you.
Oh, I mean, I think another thing I want to say is, like, although I've rationalized it, if I ever do see him again, yeah, that's not gonna get rationalized.
Yeah.
That's death, and I've seen him twice.
Okay. Yeah, so you think just like another occurrence is enough for you to be like that I know that that's what I saw.
That I saw death and that I have one more time to see death.
Yeah. What about you two?
Uh, if I ever see that little girl again, like if I ever just wake up and I see her again, I'm gonna freak out because the way I've known ghosts to work and stuff like that, it's usually like they're attached to a certain building
Mm.
or object,
Mm.
and I don't remember
And or person.
but that was the only. But I mean, I don't think she can be attached to three people at the same time.
Mm.
And my mother did say that she took me to a priest to get, as she called it, cured.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't really know what they did.
Well, for me, if it would probably have to be not seeing a shadow.
Mm.
I think that's the only time where I wouldn't rationalize it. If I actually saw, let's say, a toy moving without the batteries or without anything,
Mm-hmm.
or an actual like gnome running, and it's not the shadow, then that's when I believe
That would make you believe
that it was
mm-hmm.
it was those guys that I saw as a child.
Well, like for me, it would have to be going based off my story. It would have to be me holding a conversation with this disembodied voice, because my story, I said something and I just heard it repeated. And again, I was younger, so maybe I was just imagining it. Maybe it was just my echo into the trees, and I kind of spooked myself because I didn't really understand it. But if it would have to be for me again, just like a full on conversation with myself with this voice I heard.
Right.
Yeah, because like when I tell the story, I always make sure to tell them like it didn't sound like my voice. Like I don't remember it being my voice. Mm-hmm. Brian, did you like if you saw that girl again, do you, because you said you don't remember, so do you think it would like jog that memory in you, or do you think you'd be just as confused seeing it as if you never saw it before?
I think if I had seen her without being told the story by my mother, I would be equally as confused. But now that I know, I think if I ever saw her again, I would probably maybe have like a flashback or something.
Mm-hmm.
But it wouldn't feel weird, and I wouldn't be confused. I'd just be like, it's you again, you know. Yeah. So I guess that's how I feel about that.
So you'd kind of like accept it.
A little bit. I would be like, okay, all right. So I know I've seen you once before. I don't remember seeing you, but I've been told that I have, and I mean, I'd still probably bolt out of the room, but
Mm-hmm.
I'd be a little more okay with it.
I mean, but personally, like, I'm just, if you saw her again in like, cause that was in Mexico, right? If you saw her again, I think that would be very scary, because that would mean it's either attached to you or something you own.
Yeah, yeah. I was thinking that too, but I don't have anything from when I came over here from Mexico, and the stuff we did have is long gone by now. So it would freak me out because it'd be attached to me. But again, I feel like I would have seen it more times by now if she were attached to me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what's what I find very entertaining, and it's weird because I am also, like Johnny says, a straight pussy about these paranormal things.
Yeah.
It's that I would like to spend time in haunted places, but not.
Ooh.
And I know what happens based on movies and the stories that they tell. What could happen if you spend time in a haunted place. But I also want to go there just to find proof that there is something.
So you're not going there to try to like survive a horrific experience, because like movies that portray these kind of things, it's always like worst case scenario in my opinion.
Exactly. Yeah. I wouldn't want to go in there and just know that I'm in there for survival.
You're there for proof. You're there to make sure that your suspicions are correct.
Yeah, and once you get it, you just walk out.
Exactly.
Well, I mean,
or at least try.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys have seen the movie. I forgot what it's called. Grave Hunters.
Mhm.
It's it just takes place in a whole haunted hospital where the people that went in there are uh, um, fake ghost hunters,
Mhm.
and once they're there, they realize that they made a big mistake because the hospital starts to change in different ways,
Right.
and
Right.
they
oh yeah,
they
I
get
heard
stuck
about
in
the
it.
movie. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot what we were talking about. Oh, yeah, the whole paranormal. You walking into paranormal. Personally,
Mhm.
because I feel like a lot of movies say, "Oh, do that in the night and shit." But like, if I
Mhm.
were to do that, I'm like, I'm going in the middle of the day with like a priest or something.
Right.
You know, like I wouldn't go
Because-
there in the night. You know, definitely not.
Because again, like you're going for proof. So like, well, what difference does it make if a place is haunted? It's not like haunted only
At
in
night.
between
At night,
certain
yeah,
hours.
right.
You know?
It doesn't have a cycle,
Ghosts,
you know
what
like
I'm saying?
ghosts are nocturnal. Or
Yeah,
just,
ghosts
like
aren't on a
owls.
schedule. I
Yeah,
don't think.
that's what I believe too. Like if a ghost is real, he's gonna haunt you whenever the fuck he feels like it.
Yeah.
He's not gonna
Mm.
be like, oh, it's nighttime, so I would spook you today.
Yeah. And I feel like that's like, what is it? His stereotype, like it's like always go at
It's
night.
a trope,
like,
yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
it's a trope. It's like you'll only be there because I feel like the nighttime just adds to your fear, and that's
Mhm.
what makes you. Maybe if you go somewhere like that's supposedly haunted,
Mhm.
and you see things, I feel like it's just because you went there at night, and like the trope is that at night that's when all the stuff comes out. Where
Mhm.
it's like you already have that in your head that there's gonna be something there, and then if you go during the day, you're gonna be like, okay, we're here for evidence. You know,
Mhm.
it's like you won't be as frightened.
Right, and then you also see a bunch of other videos of ghosts appearing during the day or apparitions appearing in the day.
Mhm.
And if the place is truly haunted, then officially it has to be all the time. Something has to appear all the time.
I mean, not all the time.
Well, not
But like if you go on the day, like consistently, you're eventually gonna find it. You know,
Yeah.
during the day.
Like I think the chances of seeing something at night are just as big as seeing something in the daytime if a place is truly haunted.
Also, you know, I don't think I have to say this with the mic on, but like, I just want to say that I feel like he said that before, and I felt like this happened before, so I had deja vu while this was happening. Just FYI, not paranormal, but I thought I should say it.
I mean,
I mean,
I feel like we have had these conversations. We the reason we started this podcast was because we're always having these conversations with each other and whatnot. So I feel like that's
Okay,
but I think he means it in a different sense.
No.
of a feel.
I feel like this right here, like the whole
situation.
because I was looking at it while he said. I was looking at the voice recording, and I felt like I had looked at it while he was saying that before. But again, not paranormal, just my brain fucking with myself, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is just
It
as
happens.
creepy if you ask me.
I mean, personally, I mean, I think you all know that I find real people really scary.
Oh,
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Definitely.
Let's not get into that because that's a whole nother like
That's a
hour
whole
to
other-
2 hours.
Yeah.
I mean, we need the footage.
Well, it wouldn't be
But-
footage; it'd be
but
audio
for another
clip.
episode.
Well,
But
the audio,
personally, I'd rather be spooked by a ghost that I can run away from
Oh yeah.
than be like cornered by like a mugger, you know?
Oh, dude,
Oh, yeah,
definitely,
for
bro.
sure.
Yeah, I mean that's why like whenever I go to sleep, I tell you fuckers, are the doors locked? Cause like
Yeah,
I never want that door to be open.
Mm.
Like
I understand.
I mean, even though we're in a locked place with 2 locks downstairs and fucking a fucking lock on the door
Mhm.
and the 4th floor.
Mhm.
I still think like, and it's also why I think like I would have trouble like sleeping in a house on the 1st floor. Like I don't know how someone can. That's scary
Mhm.
in my
Yeah,
opinion. Like you gotta have some guts because someone like especially like a master, which was almost always against like the end the like
The
your
wall.
backyard or
Yeah.
the side of your
Yeah.
house. Like someone could just break in and fucking kill you. I think that shit's
Yeah.
scary.
Mhm.
But again, like that's just crimes and shit. You know,
Yeah.
like I think the paranormal is interesting and scary, whereas crimes are just scary. And I think that's the big difference between things like that and things like this.
That's why I take self-defense classes,
Do
and
you-
that's why I ask you to take self-defense classes with me because it's like, you know, like you may not go all Bruce Lee on them, but
Mm.
you'll be able to defend yourself for a little bit, and you'll be
Yeah.
able to make
Yeah.
like enough time to either like
Run
evade-
away.
yeah, like to either distract the person so other people run away, or you know, confuse them, daze them, whatever, stun them enough for you to run away. So it's like it's always
Yeah.
helpful.
Well, I feel like it helps me. It helped me personally because it's like I feel like if I were just on my own, I would panic. And when I'm with like fucking around with him and the other bitch outside,
Yeah.
and the other bitch outside, it's kind of just like, oh yeah, I don't really care. But when I want them off me, I tell myself to calm down, and then I shove them off me, which is like right now, like it's just fucking around. But in an actual situation, I would have to do that. I would have to calm down to be able to get this person off me.
I just feel like it makes you feel secure knowing that you have these skills on you, like that you know how to.
Well, I don't think. I mean,
okay.
Well, my thing is just always travel with at least a pair, because that way you don't have to outrun the person that's after you. You just gotta outrun the person next to you. And if I'm throwing my leg under yours as we're running, like can you blame me?
That's
I mean,
and if you fall and then the other person grabs your leg as both of you fall,
I'm not. Listen. This is realistic scenario. Most people who mug people aren't very quick or anything. They just corner people, and that's what happens. And that's why like I avoid alleys and places like that. The only place where I'm like truly in a corner is when I'm at work, and it's always sketch when some guy comes in with the fucking mask. Because people have come in with a mask to the store, and I'm just like, is he gonna rob us or something? Like, why? What is the necessity of coming with the mask during the middle of the summer?
It gets cold outside.
Oh,
you know
what
what
you
I'm
say?
saying?
But that would comfort me, because if they have a mask, then that means they'll be more willing to leave witnesses. Whereas if they don't have a mask,
that's true.
That's where I get worried.
I mean, I don't think it matters. Like in the city, like this, it doesn't matter. Like
I think it'd be hard to find somebody here in the city, especially like so it wouldn't matter to wear a mask or not.
Especially considering that like at first glance, like it's really at my store especially. There's like if you got, I mean, you've looked into the store I work at. I mean, did you see the cameras? Because it took me a while to find where the cameras were.
No, I didn't see them.
Yeah, there's only one in the main area, and there's two in the very back that catch the front. That's it.
It's very sketchy.
Yeah.
But I think it's fine. I mean, yeah. And you know what I hate? I hate closing because I have to turn off all the lights and I have to close the gate. And the last time I closed, I pissed off because some guy was waiting outside just staring at me, and then he turned around like he wasn't staring at me, and it was more sketch because I was counting out the register, and I'm just like, am I about to get mugged in here? Like, are you about to break this window and steal all this money? Because it was a busy day too, so it was like a shit ton of cash. And I was just like, damn. But then he just turned around and he walked away. I'm just like, that's sketch though, you know? Like having something like that happen, it's like that's always freaky. Especially
I feel like you should probably report something like that to your managers or something, maybe.
I mean,
he doesn't get paid enough to do that.
I don't get paid enough to do that. Also, the fact that the man I heard him talk to someone and then leave makes me believe he was waiting for someone. It was sketch until I heard him say, "Hey," and then walk away. You know?
Okay, I get you.
But like, yeah, I mean, I feel like, yeah, it's just people at night are more sketch, and people like, especially when I'm alone in the store that I technically should have closed half an hour ago.
Yeah,
that was sketch, you know.
Yeah, that's sus.
Yeah, but I mean, I think it's just more of the fear of the night, like the dark, you know.
Yeah,
I mean, it wasn't dark yet. It wasn't like nighttime yet.
Because
I understand what you mean. Like I was like because there's a hallway at the end that leads into the whole building for the place, and I had to turn off all the lights. You stare into the hallway, you can't see shit. If there's someone back there, you're fucked.
That's creepy.
Yeah, but where you where I work though, before you close, my supervisor would tell me, make sure that fucking back door is locked, because if that fucking back door is not locked, you're fucked. And they've always told me that.
Right.
Especially because right next to us is like a care home, and I don't remember if it's rehab or elderly care. But if it's rehab, fuck. But I think it's elderly care. But even that, it's just like, make sure it's locked, because maybe some crazy person walks in, thinking it's something else.
Yeah, I get you.
Definitely get you. I mean, the good thing about that door, though, and like this isn't good during the day. It's annoying during the day, but like at times like that is that door is really loud. Like if someone opens that door, I'm gonna know, and I'm running out that store. I ain't staying in there.
Yeah, I don't get paid enough for this.
No. You know, the money's in the register. I'm outside. I'm gone.
Yeah. Also, I don't turn off the lights until after I put the money away. So that's good, I guess.
Yeah, I get that. What about anyone else? Any other stories like that?
Very sketch like that. No,
I think there's a bunch of sketch stories. I think there's a bunch of stupid things that could have been avoided.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I know. We don't have to get into that.
I mean, we could.
We don't have to.
We don't have to. We won't. Trust. But like, I feel like there's a lot of stories that are sketch. Like I told you, right? I told you about the guy on the bike. Because when I had a night class. Oh, when we had the night class, I went home. The day they sent me home on the bus because of the Mexico game. I got on the bus, get off on my street. I start walking down. There's this guy on the bike. He bikes past me, and then all of a sudden he just screeches to a halt, turns around, and sits there.
Oh, I've had that happen to me, dude. I was taking the same bus, but the regular bus stop where we would get on, it wasn't in service because they were fixing up the road. So I had to cross the bridge and get onto the next stop. And like I walk up to it, and then this guy on this bike he's like riding, and he screeches to a halt at the bus stop, like if he knew I was gonna go to there. And this other guy's like this other guy was also there, and then the guy on the bike goes back to where I am, but a little further back behind me, and he comes back around, and he like did that like twice, and I'm like. And like they seem to have known each other because they kept like looking at each other and like nodding and whatever, and like at one point they even like spoke to each other, and I was just like, yeah, I was like, this is really sketch. Like, are these two guys about to try to mug me?
Yeah,
and I was pissed because of the fact that it said that it was in service, and I waited there, and the bus never passed by. So at that point, I was angry, and I'm kind of a big dude, so me looking angry. They looked at me, and then the other guy just left. Like the guy on the bike just left, and I was like, don't try anything because mine was.
Because I don't know if I said that, but I didn't say it here, but I don't know if I told you. But there was two people there. There was one guy already waiting, which that didn't look sketch, right? It looked sketch when the other guy came and stopped. I'm like, what? And I walked past him, and you know what? And they started, as soon as I walked past him, they look at each other and they start talking. And then they both go different directions, and I was just like, that's... One of them was heading towards me, right? But I was a little less worried when they went different directions, but it was still sketch that they went different directions, you know? I has to say, like, you know. But yeah, I think, I mean, I don't want to be out in the night, but, you know, I have a night class now again. Fuck.
Right.
I'm an Uber at home.
Why are you so afraid of the dark?
Why am I so afraid of the dark? I'm not afraid of the dark. I'm afraid of people.
All
people? These stories have to do with people, bro.
So what you're telling me is that you wouldn't be afraid of the dark, but what's in the dark?
Get a look. I would be scared of the bike guys in the morning. Trust me.
Yeah.
Because bikes have stopped in front of me in the morning.
Yeah,
that's sketch.
Yeah, the thing that happened to me was in the middle of the day. I was walking home from school. It was like 2 p.m. Yeah, it wasn't that late. Like,
yeah, I mean, the one I told you, the most sketch one, like, it's obviously always a little more sketch at night, you know, because, you know, obviously.
Yeah.
But, like, I feel like, even if that had happened to me in the morning, that's still sketch in the morning, considering that they had to pull into the alley.
Yeah. Okay, I get that. Things like that haven't really happened with me, and I think that's because I'm very unaware of my surroundings. So I was like the minute someone is within a certain radius of me, I'll notice them, but that radius isn't that big. So like it's a couple of feet, and the minute they're out of that radius, they're not my problem.
This is how it works for me though. Like if the sun is still up, my awareness is so little. It's comical. Like if someone tried to do something to me in the morning, they totally could. But as soon as the sun turns like, let's say, as soon as the sun says dark blue, my awareness is just like it's just, I just start looking at everything and at everyone, and it's just like I stare at people because I'm a paranoid fuck, and I'm
Mm.
like, just like, and my class, our self defense class didn't fucking help because I used to just be a paranoid in the evening, and now I'm kind of more paranoid in the
because
morning.
of the stuff you would say, like always be looking out.
Yeah, but it helps. I mean, it definitely helps.
Yeah.
Like it taught me how, ways to be aware
Yeah.
without being like.
Oh, I mean, I've always
Paranoid.
been pretty aware of my surroundings because as a kid, I lived very close to my school. Like not very close, but I lived a good like 8 to 10 minute walk from my school. So my mom would just have me walk to school when I was a little kid. And I was like in first grade or whatever. So I was always walking home, to school and back from school. So walking home from an early age, you always just have you just always have to be aware of what's going on around you, and whatnot. So
I think my thing is that I've always lived like when I started walking home alone, that was still in elementary, but I already lived in a decent neighborhood. Like if I had been walking alone to preschool, which not many children do, in my opinion, but if I had been walking alone to preschool, I lived in a more sketch area. I definitely would be more aware. But like again, like I had just learned to be aware like in the night, and then I just like I don't know. The classmate realized that you have to be aware even during the day, like because shit happens in the day too.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And like now I'm more aware, but sometimes I still doze off. Like I'm on my phone, and then I realize like and then I realize like I'm next to a bunch of people, and I'm just like any one of these fuckers could do anything to me if I'm not paying attention, you know?
Yeah.
And it's just like
I'm aware even when I'm on my phone. I'm always just like looking around, shifting. Like my eyes are just shifting.
yeah, that's I started doing that too now. But like
Yeah.
sometimes sometimes I'm doing something on my phone, like the whole like fixing something like my schedule and stuff, and it's just like I'm just like, and I realize, oh damn, I'm at work. Oh damn, I don't know who I passed next to, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But like usually like because of that class, I'm just like I know where to stay away.
Yeah,
that's very important.
Mm-hmm.
So from paranormal to self defense, it's funny.
Self defense and the fears of real people.
Really, that makes
real people are scary.
Yeah.
But I think it gets more scary because it's real. It happens. It's
yeah, like you're always hearing.
I think,
stories
and I think another thing with where we live now is that it's not a bad area, but it's right outside a bad area. Because like Dali City is like what, less than half a mile away. Maybe. And like that shit's sus.
Right. Yeah, but either way, I still think that the reason why it's way more fearful of real people is because it's real and you have proof of it, that it happens and it can happen.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
Yeah, me too.
As to paranormal, if it doesn't happen to you, then you know it's not real.
Yeah, you probably think, that's not real. They're just making up a story for attention or something. But yeah, real people are a lot scarier.
I don't know.
Oh, well, what about that point? What would happen to your opinion if you find out that the paranormal is actually real? Would you be more scared of the paranormal, or would you be more scared of real people at that point?
Okay. This. Okay. I mean, I'm gonna answer this personally because I feel like his answer is gonna be somewhat similar. Just because the paranormal is real doesn't mean I'm gonna get scared every time someone says, "Oh, there's a ghost." I'm just gonna be like, "Yeah, prove it." You know, like I'm not gonna be like yes, paranormal. I can say yes, paranormal exists, but the truth, the fact of the matter is that a lot of the paranormal cases are very fucking fake.
Yeah.
Like it'd have to be like I'd have to run into it again. Like I wouldn't get scared, like just because someone tells me, "Oh, like the apartment you live in is haunted." You get me?
Yeah, you'd have to still experience it.
You'd hear a lot of stories of their apartments being haunted because of other reasons. I'd still be more afraid of real people because, like, I feel like running into a ghost, like it's freaky, but it's not gonna like happen to me all the time. Now that I've seen them like once, like again, like John said, it's like a phenomenon that'll happen once in a while. Like, every time I walk into a room and they're like, "Yeah, this room's haunted," I'm not gonna just be like, "Ooh, like where?" I'm gonna just be like, if I see it, then I guess I'll see it. But there's a high chance that I might not.
Yeah, I mean, especially considering how my idea of how a ghost works is like the power a ghost has is the power you give the ghost, and like if you don't care about the ghost can't do shit or won't do shit, unless it's like, again, because there's different kinds of ghosts. But like if it's just like your average ghost, because I think there's like average ghosts people who died there, and then they're just stuck there, you know.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Those ghosts won't do shit to you because those ghosts only do things to you if you let them. Obviously, there's more like violent ghosts, and those are obviously scarier to think about, like prisoners and stuff who died, or like executions, botched experiments and stuff. That's kind of scary, but like to be in places like that, you'd have to go look for that.
Yeah.
But like in your average household, not that a ghost wouldn't be that scary.
What would you say to someone that let's say you have this experience that makes you a believer? What would you say to someone that looks at your experience and says you're lying? That's fake. That never happened.
Ooh, that's a good question.
Well, what I do? I mean, I wouldn't argue with them, you know, because like I had to see it to believe it, you know.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, that's fine. You can believe that. If it ever happens to you, you will believe it, you know. I just know that my experience is true to me, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I don't have to prove a point to you. Like this happened to me, you know. Maybe you don't believe it because it's never happened to you, and I understand. Like I was there once. I was at the point, you know. I was there. I've said, I don't believe in them. You know, I'll see it. You know, when I see it, I'll believe it. And then it's like that's the same thing. Like they won't believe it until they see it, and there's nothing I can really do to make them believe it, and unless they have like an actual experience.
You ever think about it in this way, where we're right now the people that don't believe, and the people that have claimed that they have had paranormal experiences?
I mean, I'm gonna keep it with you. Knowing us, the majority of our life, unless we get really unlucky, we probably won't have a paranormal experience.
Yeah.
Right. It's even statistically wise.
Statistically speaking, we won't. You
We
know.
won't.
Yeah. Okay. I can buy into that. But what would you say to? Okay, another good question I think is that what would you say to someone that said, okay, well, I went to where you had your experience. I did the things you did, and nothing happened to me. So you're lying.
I think, like I said, with the ghost thing we said earlier about the whole daytime and timeline thing, ghosts don't have like methods. Ghosts don't have timelines. It'll happen whenever. It'll happen whenever he wants to do it. You know.
And that's what you tell them.
And if it wants to do it, right?
If it wants to, like maybe he just fucked with me because he noticed I was scared. Maybe he just,
or because he noticed that you didn't believe, or one of the reasons, right?
Yeah.
I just bring up that question because I know that happens to people that like publish their story and like it gets a lot of like traction or whatever, and then they're like, well, yeah, it was real and I was there, and then someone else is like, well, I was there too and nothing happened.
Well, I would say take the boat, the Mayflower, for example. There are a lot of people who claim to have had paranormal experiences happen to them while being there, but there have also been a lot of people who have said that they've experienced nothing. You know, sleeping in the same rooms and stuff like that. It is, like Jonathan said, just, you know, by pure luck that you happen to come across it. It's really just not gonna, you know, it's not like the ghost always shows up at 1 p.m., you know? Like, they don't have a time, it isn't scheduled or anything like that.
I don't know. I mean, we introduced what we would mainly be talking about, I guess, which is paranormal stuff, which is what we're interested in.
Well, not just paranormal. You
well, I mean, it's things we like, and I think we should bring up, I don't know, something else that maybe we want to talk about. I don't know how you feel about that. I can't think of anything right now, but
then let's get into it. What exactly are we going to talk about on this podcast?
Another big thing are cryptids like the Loch Ness, Bigfoot, Black-Eyed Kids, things like that.
Yeah, I think that's cool too.
Yeah. And not only those, but we are also going to be talking about some urban legends, the ones that are mainly not focused on as well, and the most popular ones as well.
I don't know. I think it'd be interesting to explore some more. Eventually, I don't know. Eventually, probably not here, but like maybe on a not here. That doesn't make any sense.
Not now.
Not now. Definitely not now. I feel like it'd be interesting to explore more like physical things, like people's actions and stuff, psychology behind certain things, or like the chances of certain things happening.
Yeah.
I think that'd be interesting eventually. But again, I feel like that requires us. That'd be a lot of time and effort to put into it. And like, I'm not saying not a lot of time and effort is going to be put into our episodes in general. I'm just saying like that would require like years and years of understanding these topics at the very least.
Yeah. Because we can't, out of our own pure knowledge, we can't just put.
We can't be like, this person did this because he's crazy or something. Like we don't know that.
Yeah, right. We're not experts in the fields. psychology.
Maybe
Right.
with a basic understanding, maybe we could start something, but even then, we still have to get by the day more information.
Oh yeah, well, like you guys saying, that's all in due time and for another episode because I think this episode is coming to an end.
Yeah, I would agree.
I definitely think we should wrap it up.
Alrighty, so
Well then, I'll cue us out. I'm Eduardo,
I'm Brian.
I'm Alan.
I'm Jonathan.
and we're Semblance from the Mass Trinity Productions.